Hello, and thanks for popping over to Aha Moment. This Aha is called Get Comfortable Being Uncomfortable. And it originally was released on July 3rd of 2023. Now, yeah, I'm going to read it to you and we're going to have a little conversation about it. But as always, you can subscribe to jrang.com and get yours every Monday morning at 8 a.m. And, some other cool things come in that subscription list. So lots of notices about what's coming down the pipe. And I don't mean lots of notices, but there is a lot coming down the pipe right now. So if you don't want to miss anything, then hop on, get subscribed, and let's start communicating. Okay, some very, very cool releases coming up. I'll mention them a little bit later. In the meantime, let's get to the aha. You've had aha moments. I mean, sometimes they just kind of hit you like little awareness nuggets, and other times they're huge flashes of brilliance. But they always tend to they always tend to shift your perspective in some way and get you going off doing things differently. Right? That's what aha moments are all about. So let's get to this one called Getting Comfortable Being Uncomfortable. Some of these just flow out really easily and others take a little bit of work. And this one, I have to admit, I massaged many times and I did a lot of research on the word awareness. And as I was going, I was flooded with information on it. And after a while, it was kind of like, okay, simplify. I'm so good at complicating things. So I hope I have done a good job to simplify. And here it goes. You ready? If you had to define awareness, what might that sound like? Is awareness a perspective or an experience? Is it a realization or a level of consciousness? What about a degree of alertness or understanding? Likely it's all the above, as well as even an appreciation of something when you become aware of its value. My experience is that awareness always stems from some level of disruption. Your friend suddenly stops returning your messages. After several attempts in making up all kinds of stories as to why they refuse to respond, you learn that they've been ill or unable to communicate. That new information changed your awareness of the situation and likely how you responded. You take the same track to work every day until there's construction. Being rerouted on a scenic path has you paying attention, at which point you discover a walking trail you never realized existed. You've invested the same way with the same people in the same configuration as your dad and likely his dad until there was a shift in the market. That unexpected turn wakes you up to new ways in which to take control of your finances. If ignorance is bliss, does that make awareness chaos? Aha, progress begins with awareness. Eckhart Tolle said, awareness is the greatest agent for change, yet for many, change is a four-letter word. We are tribal beings who seek comfort and safety and resist change. However, change is inevitable. Covering your eyes and your ears to new information, new ways, and new behaviors may feel blissful, but isn't it more empowering to cause disruption, enhance your awareness, and build off change? Heightening awareness, especially self-awareness, is mastery. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. How's that? How's that? So getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That is not even a comfortable thought for many people. Many people love that feeling of blissful ignorance. They really do. And I see it everywhere, every moment of every day that I'm around. And I see it sometimes physically, like people still wearing masks, which 3.5 years later, they didn't get the memo that that's not what this was all about. And yet they're inhibiting their breathing, which is, I find really hurts me when I see them doing that, because I know that they are trying to do something that is protecting, and they're working on a level of awareness and a level of knowledge that is not supportive to their health. And I feel very sad when I see those people. And there are many of them. They're walking outside, and sometimes they're young kids. They're working in retail, and they're not breathing in good oxygen because they're stifling their breathing. Right. So if anything, they're breathing in too much carbon dioxide, which we know is poisonous to us. Good for trees, but poisonous to us. And And there's a lot of bacteria that builds up in those mats. So I mean, you know, that if people are getting sick, well, gosh, you know, I wonder why. So lots of reasons why, but it hurts me to see that, because I know that their awareness is not where it needs to be to understand that we need to be breathing in oxygen without restriction. No restriction. That's it. And we've known that. Our intelligent self has known that for a really long time. So awareness is a level of disruption, though. Something has to happen often to trigger that awareness. So we can do that ourselves. We can embrace disruption. We can encourage those triggers. We can go looking for answers. We can do things differently that way, in a way to say, I'm not going to accept, or is there a better way? I always call myself an efficiency expert. I am always looking for a better way to use my time more efficiently. I feel that time is the most precious commodity that we have, and we can't get it back. Once it's spent, it's spent. So I want to invest my time, and I value it, and I protect it like crazy. And anybody who knows me knows that I don't waste time. I don't enjoy when other people waste my time. And that is really important to me. So I'm always looking for ways, not just my time, everybody else's time too. I'm always looking for ways to do things a little better. So I'm always causing a little bit of disruption. Once I find a path that's working, it's like, okay, good. But there's always a level of me asking how it can be done better. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody likes to be challenged and questioned, because again, we mentioned we're tribal beings, that we like routine, we like to be comfortable. But yet, if we're, you know, investing in the same way, and we're following the same route, and we're, you know, not paying attention to what's happening with our friends, and, you know, I can come up, and you could come up with probably even more examples than I can about that, but, you know, of what happens when our awareness is shifted, and it often comes from disruption. So it's, you know, when I mentioned about covering your eyes and your ears, there are a lot of very, very intelligent, highly educated people who are covering their eyes and their ears. They are pretending that what is that, you know, that they just, that they don't want to know what's going on, because it's easier to not have to deal with it, right? But awareness is empowering. When we embrace disruption, create, you know, allow change to happen and accept change, then that we're getting closer to self-mastery in that, right? Because now we accept the fact that everything is always changing. We're always growing or digressing. Nothing ever stands still. So when we kind of wrap our head around that, then we start to say, how can I increase my awareness so that I'm empowered enough to be able to not just weather the change, but thrive through a change? It's not easy to do. It's what they say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not easy to do, but it's possible. And that is something that we need to consider for ourselves, right? We can stay in these little bubbles and pretend that nothing is happening. But then when it does happen, it's going to be way bigger and way stronger, and you're not going to be ready for it. So, and that's usually the way it works. And I'm not just talking about the economy or things that are going on right now. That's usually the way it works. And it happens in family dynamics. You can, you know, ignore a relationship for a really long time and pretend that, you know, it's not as bad as it is, or things aren't, you know, no, he's not lying to me. You know, you can do whatever you want, but, you know, eventually that, you know, something happens to disrupt your thinking and make you more aware. So, so I'm just saying, hey, why don't we just open ourselves up and allow that information to come in, purposely take different routes to work. Like, don't take the same route all the time. Purposely look for new ways to invest. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes along the way. You absolutely are. But we learn by trial and error, right? We will learn by screwing up. So, you know, just as they say, fail faster, just do it more often. And then you learn that much faster. So let's get comfortable being uncomfortable, and challenging ourselves to increase our awareness. That's the big message here. Okay. So 50 simple ways to release the shackles of self-sabotage will be released on August 15th. You can get a pre-order copy so that you are the first off the mark. And I'm excited about that. And the new website, A Human Approach, is being worked on as we speak. Some very cool things happening in there, including Human You, which is going to be a pretty pretty nifty university that you'll never want to graduate from. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. And as always, succeed deliberately.